Did you know you can turn any song into a karaoke track so you can sing along in Apple Music? All you have to do is to go to lyrics and tap this mic icon. You can also adjust the amount of vocals you want from the track. That's nuts! And here are 9 more reasons why Apple Music is better than Spotify. The first thing is the catalog. Apple Music has a larger catalog than Spotify. Now you might be thinking, wait, don't both platforms have 100 million songs? Yes, they do, but Apple Music offers you exclusive content such as early album releases and live performances. For example, Memento Mori, a weekly radio and podcast session by The Weeknd, is exclusive to Apple Music. It's not just that many artists tend to release their music first on Apple Music because it's not a free service like Spotify. Apple Music has way better audio quality than Spotify. That is until Spotify drops their premium service, which is supposed to match Apple Music's high-res lossless audio quality. But it's rumored to be a separate plan that's way more than their current $10.99 plan. Apple Music offers lossless at no additional cost. Now, it's subjective if you can really tell the difference between lossless and regular old MP3s, as a lot of people are using wireless earphones now, most of which can't even stream lossless audio. Yes, even the AirPods can't do them.
Wow.
But if you're someone who uses wired earphones or headphones, the difference is pretty clear. I've heard a lot of songs in both lossless and high-res lossless, and I do notice the added clarity and depth in the songs. I do hope Apple somehow gets the AirPods to support lossless audio on the iPhone someday. But there's one thing you'll surely experience with AirPods: spatial audio. No joke, spatial audio changes the way you listen to music. You're not just listening to music, you're experiencing it. It almost feels like the artist is performing in front of you, with each instrument placed exactly where they intended it. And dynamic head tracking adds to the immersive experience of spatial audio. It's still shocking to me how all of this is possible. I pay for Apple Music just so I can use spatial audio. I fell in love with it the very first time I experienced it on my AirPods. I always look up for songs that are made for spatial audio just to experience it in the immersive way. If you use AirPods, you can toggle spatialized stereo to make any song spatial, and it does a decent job. Now granted, not all songs are in spatial audio, and some which are in spatial audio don't really sound great compared to stereo, but the ones that are properly mixed do sound amazing. The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, Travis Scott, Big Sean have some of the best mixes in spatial audio. There's even a playlist by Apple with all the best spatial audio hits if you want to experience it in the best way possible. Speaking of playlists, Apple Music and Spotify have the same kind of playlist. Now to be fair, Spotify has its focus towards playlists compared to Apple Music, which is more album focused. Both have your new mixes or playlists based on moods. Both services also recommend you songs and artists you haven't listened to yet, which is great. But here's the catch. Apart from your station and the Discovery Mix, all the in-house playlists on Apple Music are curated by artists and DJs. And let's not forget, Apple Music has live radio stations. These are not your old school radio stations with crappy audio quality. They're hosted by a bunch of well-known celebrities and run 24/7. Sometimes even artists host these radio stations on Apple Music. Apart from music or playlists, Apple Music also has music videos. Spotify does not have this as of yet. These music videos are shown right below each album, which is convenient as you don't need to leave the app to watch them. But that's not all. Some artists host live performances on Apple Music. This adds to the whole exclusivity factor that Apple Music has over Spotify. If you're feeling fancy, then Apple Music offers you Classical, which is its own standard app just made to stream classical music, as they don't want to clutter up the current catalog of modern music with classical music. The Classical app lets you look up for a composer, work, opus number, conductor, artist, instrument, or even a work's nickname. And once you find what you're looking for, you get all its recordings plus an editor's choice performance. Classical music is often overlooked. Modern pop music is usually performed by the songwriter or originating artist. Classical music from around the world has been performed and recorded by different people over time. There are a lot of nuances that are ignored on Apple Music and Spotify, and this app fixes that. The user interface makes it so easy to look up based on catalog, playlists, or instruments. And a sub to this channel will also be a very fancy move, not like this outfit. I'm on the race to hit 8,000 subs by the end of this year, so make that happen. Enough of this outfit. That's so much better. The lyrics on Apple Music are much more accurate than those on Spotify. Many songs on Spotify don't have lyrics, and even when they do, they often don't match the song. Apple Music's lyrics are also visually more appealing and better synchronized with the song. Additionally, Apple Music allows you to convert any song into a karaoke track and sing along, and search for any song based on the lyric. Apple Music's user interface is aesthetically pleasing and easy to use. Everything is separated into its own tabs. The first tab you see when you open Apple Music is your library, which organizes your playlists and albums. The Listen Now tab has your recently listened to songs, new picks, and new album releases based on your listening habits and what your friends are listening to. The Browse tab has curated playlists and radios on a separate tab when you need it. The Now Playing interface looks so beautiful. Just take a look at this. The cover art or live art is the center of focus and the controls are below it. It's easy to look up an album or song credits, and SharePlay makes it easy to listen to music with others. As of iOS 17, you can also have a SharePlay session in your car and anyone can contribute to the music. As a whole, this is how a music playing platform is supposed to be. It doesn't push you towards playlists or podcasts, but instead focuses on what you like and listen to on a daily basis. I love Apple Music's interface way more than Spotify. Here's a bonus one. You can easily find a song using Shazam and that song gets instantly added to your Apple Music library. I'll soon have a video on why Spotify is better than Apple Music, and if it's up by the time you're watching this, click here.